Hi everybody, Tom from TS Wood and Leather back again. Welcome to part 2 of the custom cherry dresser project. A quick recap, we've got the interior portions all done, made out of plywood, the shelves and the interior portions of the drawers. So now I'm going to move on to the bases. And the bases are just simple framed 2x4 bases that I'm going to encase with finished cherry. I made the bases about 3 inches smaller all the way around, and it's just to lift the dresser up off the floor so the drawers and the doors don't scrape the carpet when you need to open them, and it makes a nice little kick panel. I screwed them together with 2.5-inch wood screws. Not very complicated, real basic framing job, but not everything goes to plan.
Dude, just chill out and relax.
So after taking a 5-minute time out, I finished screwing the bases together. Then I cut out hunks of cherry for the sides and the front. I glued them on and screwed them in from the back, just making sure that the butt joints were nice and tight. After I got done screwing everything together, I just took them off and sanded them down, got the corners all nice and square, and then I set them aside to be finished later. Next, I cut the rough sawn cherry for the panels, the sides, the doors, and the tops. I always cut these to a little bit longer and a little bit wider than I need. You do waste a little bit of wood, but during the glue up, some things don't always come up square or just the right length, so in the long run it saves a lot of time. Here you can see how easily cherry burns from the friction of the saw blade. Since these are going to be glued up panels, I don't really have to worry about the burn marks. But I do still give them a light sanding just to get rid of the saw blade marks, so when I glue them up they're nice and tight with no gaps.
So after all the planing and milling and everything else, we have some flat boards that I'm going to make panels out of. Now some of these have sapwood, and I like the sapwood. I like the contrast and the randomness of it, but I do want the sapwood integrated on each of the panels, so there's a little bit of sapwood in each one. Now it's the selection process of which ones I'm going to pair together to make the panels. I need to make side panels and door panels. Then it's just a simple glue up process. We'll see how that goes.
Next, it's cutting out all 12 of the drawer fronts.
All right, so we're day 5 in the build. I've got the cases, most of the panels are done and glued up. I gotta do the tops and the drawer fronts. I have these handle pulls that I got off of Amazon. They're only about $1.20 a piece. They're made out of aluminum, anodized black. They're really nice. But I do have to go to the router table and inlay the back of these pulls because they're going to be sandwiched up against the drawers themselves, and you want the wood to lay flat against it. like the look and feel of oiled finishes. So if you like that, this is a two-part process that is easy to make on your own. The first part is 1 part mineral spirits, 1 part boiled linseed oil, and 1 part polyurethane. The liquids are measured by volume. Liquid, liquid, liquid. So we mix that and we'll put that in a mason jar. That's part 1. Part 2 of this finish is 1 part carnauba wax, 1 part beeswax, 4 parts boiled linseed oil, and 2 parts citrus oil. These are measured by weight, but this will actually solidify and turn into a paste. The carnauba wax is a harder wax that gives you the protectant, and beeswax is a softer wax, and that'll help get down into the grain. After we're done with part 1 onto the wood, we'll let that dry and cure at least 24 hours overnight, and then we'll put on part 2. I'll show you the application process of this later. You can vary the amounts on any of these. It's not that critical. If you want more protectant in the first coat, you can use more polyurethane. You could actually double this. So 1 part, 2 parts. Anything more than that, it gets a little excessive, and then the finish gets a little sticky. We're gonna mix these up, and then I'll have my finish for the dressers. Because I'm out, I need more. So now it's time for part 2. I've got a double boiler set up. So I have a crock pot. You can use a hot plate or something. There's water in here. And I'm gonna mix up my ingredients using a scale. We have our boiled linseed oil, carnauba wax, beeswax, and citrus oil. Measure these by weight, and then they're gonna melt down in my double boiler. After they're liquefied, then I'm gonna put them in my containers. They will solidify and turn into a paste after they cool off. All right, then this goes into our boiler, our double boiler, and we're gonna let that melt. The nice thing about this finish is it's not something that you have to clean up with like paint thinner or something, or you know, some kind of solvent. It just, and because of the citrus oil, it smells really good. So while we're waiting for the part 2, or the second part, to melt down, I'll show you what the first part looks like. And this is just a scrap raw piece of cherry. It comes out just really nice. After you put part 2 on with the waxes, it just pops. So it takes quite a while for this to melt down. So the beeswax that was floating on the top is all melted, but you can see on the bottom there, that's the carnauba wax, and carnauba wax is harder, more dense, so it takes longer for it to melt. Do not pour your solution into your jars until you get all the carnauba wax melted. If you pour it when it separates like this, you're gonna end up with just a bunch of oil on the top and carnauba wax on the bottom. You gotta wait until that carnauba wax is fully melted. All right, so my crock pot doesn't get hot enough to melt the carnauba oil. Carnauba oil melts at about 190 degrees Fahrenheit. So my crock pot wouldn't do it. I did it on the stove. It goes a lot quicker if you do it on the stove, and it smells awesome. The orange oil is the bomb, if you like oranges. If you don't like citrus, well, it might not be for you. We have our wood finish. If you buy the gallon jug that I have of the boiled linseed oil, and the big 3-pound bag of carnauba wax, and the big 5-pound bag of beeswax, the gallon of everything, and mineral spirits and all that stuff, you'll have enough to make probably 7-8 batches, which will last you a long time. So in bulk, it cost me about $200. Less expensive actually than some of the commercial brands, and I think it's even better than most of them. But one batch of this stuff only ends up costing me about maybe $20. So it's very inexpensive compared to some of the commercial brands for the amount that you get, and the results are awesome. You can take the urethane out and you can actually use alcohol that makes it all natural and completely food safe. For the second part is completely food safe. You can use this on anything. You can use it on cutting boards. It's a lot like Odie's oil in that regard. In the second part, a lot of people will add either pine resin or shellac resin, which you can buy in flakes as well, but you do have to dissolve that with some kind of solvent. And you can still make that all natural if you use, say, for example, pure grain alcohol, Everclear, or you can buy even more pure alcohol from a medical dispensary. The reason you want pure alcohol is because you don't want a lot of water content. You can't use like 40 proof vodka or something like that because half of it is water, and water and oil don't react well together. This is not for heavy use furniture. This is not for like bar tops or for like dining room tables where they're gonna have wet glasses. Stuff that's not gonna get wet or stained. It's great. It's great. It's good stuff.
In part 3, we're going to cut and install the panels, the doors, and the drawer fronts, install all the hardware, finish all the wood, and do the big reveal. Till next time, love you. See ya.